for hire. Welcome to our podcast today. Today we have the lovely Demi Bredefeld, right?
Yes, that's right.
Bredefeld. So she has been teaching how many years?
This will be my 12th year.
12
years. Yes.
Oh, what grades have you taught?
So I started in 4th grade and then did 4 years in 2nd grade, and then I've done 6 years in 1st grade. So
I love
the littles.
You love the littles. And this is why I wanted to have her, is she has done early elementary. She's passionate about early elementary. And so we're going to ask her lots of questions today. There will be multiple interviews. But the one we're going to start with is actually less of her being a teacher and more she is also a mom of a first grader.
He's going into 2nd grade. He just finished up his 1st grade year. So
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. So Demi, we always ask this question before the interview. If there's one thing you could tell parents, like you're sort of started this journey of early elementary as a mom, like what would you want parents to know? What would you tell them?
I think it's really important that parents know that 1st grade is a huge year of growth. Your kiddo is still really little in 1st grade. And so, they're learning to read. They're learning they're learning social skills in 1st grade. Math is increasing in rigor from kindergarten. And so it's a big year of growth, but it's also a big year of play. And so I think that's something that's really important for parents to keep in mind when they're starting 1st grade is that, things are going to start to ramp up a little bit, but also they're little, they're 6. And so finding that balance at home, I think is really important.
Yeah.
A 1st grader.
What did that look like to you? So you're sometimes home after school. What did you do?
Yeah. So, I was at school with him. He's in the hallway with me. So that was really, really nice because I kind of got to see, how he was doing. But then when he came home, it was really just relaxed time. Like he played. Sometimes we'd go outside and ride bikes with the neighborhood kids. His little brain had been working so hard all day long that he just needed some time to be a kid, be a 6-year-old and kind of let loose. Because at school, kids tend to hold it all together and they are on their best behavior. They're on their best, put their best foot forward. And so just some time to unwind, kind of like we need after a day of work or something. We just need some time to unwind. So you do that. And then in the evenings, we would always read together. So I think that's really important. That's something that I tell parents. And then myself being a parent, I saw that was really important. It's a time to connect and then to really build those literacy skills. So we would read every evening together, books that he'd bring home from school. Occasionally, we would do some like handwriting practice or some math facts, depending on what was going on at school. But, again, I think that just having some time at home to unwind is really important.
Have you really thought about that? Like, as we as adults need unwinding time.
Yeah.
And so I've never thought about kids need that. Like that they I love that idea. They've been on their best behavior.
Yeah.
Did you tend to find when you first started kindergarten or 1st grade, like you fall apart some days, like the first few weeks after, because it was so much pressure?
Yeah, so he's not really a fall apart kid. He's the kind of keep it all together all the time kid. But he definitely was tired. It was a lot, especially kindergarten. He was very tired, but 1st grade, he'd get tired and need just some extra time to unwind, but not really meltdown, but just kind of like, I'm done, Mom. He'd say, how was your day at school today? And I don't want to talk about it just because he was so tired. And then later on, he'd chat about his day and tell me everything, but
I love that.
About transition time.
It was like giving him transition time and then a reading with him after.
Yeah.
And not coming with this expectation, like as kids, they're just going to they need to do too much reading or keep going. Like,
exactly.
That's healthy for their brain to take a break.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely developmentally appropriate for them to have rest time.
I really thought about that. Okay. So what else? So I think that it's really helpful for our moms. What else would you tell them thinking about a 1st grader, 2nd grader? Like what would you tell parents?
Yeah. I would say there's so many different styles of teaching that you'll see your kid come home with. And there's a different way of teaching now than what we grew up with. And I'm teaching in a different way than how I was taught. And so, you might see these math strategies or specifically math strategies and think, what is this? I've never seen this before. I don't even know where to begin, where to help my child. Teach them how you did it. Teach them the vertical algorithms. If that's how you understand it, maybe that'll click for them too. So I think that's something that I always tell parents, don't be afraid to, mess up what they're learning at school because the philosophy now is lots of different strategies and different ways of going about things. So teach them those things. Don't be afraid of it. Be a part of it. And, it might just work for your kid. It might not too, and that's okay. And don't feel like, I would say parents don't feel like you've messed them up or anything. Just keep going.
I love that. So people never thought about it. Like a lot of the ways we teach different concepts has changed. And I feel like as a parent, it's probably like, can I teach him something different? Will that mess it up?
Yeah.
So it's like, be confident, see if that'll work because it might
Yeah.
help them.
Exactly. And it used to be a lot of like rote memorization. Like you just memorize your math facts. You don't need to know the why behind it. And now, in math specifically, we want to teach kids the why. Why, and then the number 12 is there 2 digits. And so we really teach that, where I don't remember learning that as a kid.
Rote memorization, yeah.
Me too. And so it's just, it's different. So don't be afraid of the difference. Like lean into that, try new things, and also know that your child's teacher, if the child's teacher is doing what they're doing their job. And so you also don't need to feel pressured to teach them those things if your kid's doing fine at school.
Makes sense. Okay. I hear the last question I've got is there's a big transition from kindergarten to first.
Yeah.
So as a mom, how was that to experience? My kid is sort of this playful, curious to like, I've got to be a little more serious in first grade. How was that navigating it? Any thoughts?
Yeah.
on parents?
It's a big jump academically, but I think it's doable for kids. In kindergarten, they do go from having a whole like developmental play time and play centers and pretend play. And then in first grade, that kind of goes away. So, as a teacher, I still try and incorporate some of those things in first grade because they're still 6 years old and they need to play even at school. If we spend 6-7 hours a day just doing academics, that would be really, really challenging for them. And I don't know that we'd see the growth that they needed. The jump is big, but, I think first grade teachers, especially the ones I work with, have done a really good job of, making the transition easy. And then making reading fun. That's one of the things. A lot of times kids come into kindergarten or come into first grade from kindergarten and they're like, I can't read. And they just have up this wall. I know my son did. He was a very reluctant reader. And so I just tried to make it fun for him. Reading fun books in the evening and not pressuring him to like, you have to read this book, but just making it fun. And that really helped to develop his love of reading. And now he's reading chapter books and he loves it. But I think just be patient with your kid in the transition, and they are going to grow so much no matter what. It's really fun to see their growth.
I love it. Well, Demi, thanks for telling us all about being a mom of a first grader. You should check it out. We do have great books for kindergarten to third grade, developmentally appropriate, Ever Higher does. And we have tons of other interviews with teachers and moms talking about early elementary. So check us out.